We venture in through the narrow path that twitches at every corner with creatures awakening. As the horn fades, the shadows creep back in, and they come thick and fast, unfurling in a winter air. I'm turned around so quick that before I know it, Zara is leading the way, Peg barking out instructions I can barely hear through the growls of the wolves and the screech of the shadow birds that loom down from outstretched blackened branches, their forms twisted and elongated. "Focus!" Peg snaps at me. "Can't leave your friend to do this alone. Now is the time, Stella." I take a long, deep breath, put my fingers on the silver and gold acorn, and keep my eyes trained on Zara. The shadows retreat to the corners of my eyes, and I watch as Tea Cake darts back and forth before us as if she's testing out the ground. Perhaps she is. Peg digs his claws into my shoulder, and we keep going until the path widens and daylight streams into the clearing around the wildest part of the river, where the shadows are afraid to roam. They still flick and whisper through the branches of the trees, but in this space there is clear air, and the rush of silver water sounds like hope. Tea Cake halts here and stares up at me, as if waiting for me to act. "Where's the palace, Peg?" I whisper. "I don't know where it is," he says. "That's the whole point, Stella. Nobody does. Nobody has been able to find it all this time. I did try before I was banished." "You never did say why. Perhaps now is the time. Who banished you? The shadows?" He huffs, letting out a sulphurous cloud. "Not them, no. The head of the council, Rory." "The Centuride," whispers Zara, her eyes round. "She banished you. Oh dear." "Why oh dear?" I ask. "I know she's fierce, but..." "I've read about her in one of your books. She's the head of the Fae." "But the king and queen?" "No. Well, yes, they ruled, but after the shadows came, the council was formed to fight them and to rule Winterspell. They are the ones with the real power now. They protect the Fae people against the shadows as much as they can." "What book did you read that in?" I ask. "Well," says Zara, "I also talked to someone who knows about it all." "Anyway," says Peg, "yes, it was Rory who banished me, but she was angry at the time. Perhaps she's forgotten." Laughter rings through the clearing, and the flowers that nestle between the roots of the ancient trees bloom blue and yellow and violet. And Rory is there. She moves towards us, and the air gets thin, and her dark eyes spark. "Forgotten?" she chimes. "When I make a rule, it is not forgotten, Peg. It is not broken. You were told never to come back. That spell you used last time nearly destroyed the whole cluster." "A cluster?" I frown from Rory to Peg. "A cluster of what?" "Spiders," Peg says, widening his tail through his fingers, looking at the ground. "I was searching for the truth, deep in the forest, looking for the palace, and they attacked." "Peg, you were searching for chestnuts, and the spiders spooked you. We do not harm nature's creatures in here, even if we don't like them. What you did was unforgivable." "I'm very sorry," he says, looking up at her with a nervous, toothy imp smile. "I acted wrongly in a moment of panic, and I have repented ever since. I swear I'll never do it again. Now I bring these children to you, for they are determined to find the palace." Rory snorts and paws at the ground. "Pretty words, little imp. That's all those are." She turns her steely gaze to me. "I told these girls, this creature, not to return. I told you not to return. She isn't a creature, Peg says quickly, leaping up onto my shoulder. Don't you see who she is, Rory? Have you been blinded by all these years among the shadows? I have been too busy fighting to listen to dusty old legends, she whispers, and her fate is changed. It is a wild, cruel place where no hope no longer lives. If what you say is true, then they will find their way, Peg, but you may not go with them. She is suddenly still, just inches from us. The air smells of metal. It's cold as a knife in my throat. You were banished by my word, and my word shall have power here, whatever else may happen. Send your girls to do their little hunt if you dare. That one, she indicates me with a cool nod of her head, brings the shadows close. There is no doubt in that. They have grown worse ever since I first saw her in here. If she really has something to do with it all, she may as well do it now, for we are heading for the fight of our lives. She casts a glance towards Zara and me. I see they have one of the old lanterns. Perhaps that will help, perhaps not. In either case, I have other things to attend to, for today we mourn for the 1000th time. The knife sharpens as her voice breaks, and she is grief and wilderness, all trapped in sharp angles. Peg crouches still as a stone upon my shoulder. I sense something passing between Rory and him. The moment stretches, and I can almost hear it, but every time I try to tune in, something snaps, tight as elastic. I close my eyes to focus better, but the air turns still, and when I open them, she's gone. What was that, Peg? A warning? He says, sounding tired. I cannot go with you, and if you don't do this now, you may never get in here again. Rory will see to that. He gives me a long, level look, and then starts barking out in